You know what? I think the public does have a right to know some of those things, and we need to be very, very careful about being overbroad in granting these types of exceptions. I mean, give you an example. St. Charles Parish is a plaintiff in a lawsuit in federal court against FEMA with the risk rating 2.0 map, which we're told that we cannot get the information about how they determine what these rates are that they're imposing, and people are having to pay. We've already got the property insurance, but in these areas where we have to have flood insurance, we've got these flood insurance rates that are just accelerating. And we're suing to try to find out the deliberative process, how we arrived at that. And to be able to, I just want to make sure that we're not taking that ability away for legitimate concerns of against the government, and taking away the freedoms of our voters and our electors and our Louisiana citizens, or whoever it is, because we just got to be very careful about this. I know that you are a proponent of freedom, but also I understand the abuses that can be led to, and we need to make sure that we're not abusing the Freedom of Information and the Public Records Act. But thank you very much for answering my question.
I agree with everything you said, Senator Miller.
This is Billy Broussard. I appreciate y'all giving me time to speak today. I'd like to point out something that Senator Miller brought up about the purpose of our insurance. The Attorney General mentioned she doesn't have an answer, and the congressional delegation can't find an answer to why FEMA. Well, I can tell you, because this bayou just to say this area that was flooded back in 2006 after Hurricane Rita was a year later. From my understanding, 600 people flooded. And y'all all know right after a disaster, you're there with your constituents going, what happened? Why did you flood? Well, I cleaned the bayou. I didn't know. I got the contract. We cleaned in the bayou. I talked to constituents. They say, do you know why y'all doing this? We're not exactly sure. We're just cleaning up behind the hurricane. We find out that they've told all these constituents, well, the reason you flooded was all because of Hurricane Rita debris that was put in the bayou. Well, I'm telling you, I cleaned the bayou, and it was 10 times the debris than what FEMA originally estimated to be in the bayou. Now, I will let you know that in regards to public records, Senator Mills was helping me. He was the senator at the time. I sent emails to the parish telling them the reason why I wanted public records. I got a judgment against me and my senator, or just to say my senator today would want to help me with this. Not that we can't get the public records, but we can't even communicate with these people in the parish, police, jurors, etc. And the thing is what's very interesting about this particular case is we don't want to admit sometimes why we're flooding and why we have these problems, but it's neglect. Nobody wants to, say, it's the municipality that's not doing their proper maintenance. And through this, this was a project that I never seen so much cover up in my life. And I'm talking about at every level. GOSAP, their contractors, the parish, the drainage district, their attorneys, all of them. And interesting, the person that knows a lot about this was my original attorney, who is now our governor. And guess what? I promise you, at the time, he said, I'm willing to speak or answer any questions. I promise you, I would love to be able to sit in the office with the governor, who I have no ill will to. He's actually my cousin, and I love him very much, and I want him to be protected as much as possible. But when constituents at that level, and not just this 600 people that are flooded, but how often do we have disasters in Louisiana? All the time. I've been cleaning up behind disasters. I'm an arborist. I cut trees, so I do things to prevent disasters. But on the back end, I cleaned up a lot after storms. And I'm telling you, all this stuff behind the scenes, think about it. For no one to have an answer to why FEMA upped the rates, FEMA's not idiots. They just don't. They have a big back, and they just don't throw anybody under the bus. They just raise the rate and say, deal with it. But it's because of so much fraud, waste, and abuse and misleading the public about the real reason they're flooding. We have to have a better system than just turn around, don't drown. So, I mean, I have so much information that I obtain through public records requests that would, and I would love to be, trusted. They say trust but verify. I have the evidence to prove that I can verify everything that I'm saying. So this bill, I want the governor to be protected, trust me. But all these municipalities, to be able to cover this type of behavior up, I don't see why anybody would want to support this. It's not fair to the constituents. Thank you.
All right, thank you.